Trophies in the front-line Soviet tanks in Germans' units.
Subscribe for daily content. Support this channel so it can grow.
According to German data, out of more than 28,000 tanks in the Red Army before the start of the war, more than 14,079 tanks were lost in 2 months of hostilities by August 22, 1941. A significant part of these vehicles were lost during the fighting or were destroyed during the retreat, but a huge amount of equipment was left intact in parks, on marches due to lack of fuel, or abandoned due to malfunctions, many of which could be eliminated in short lines. In the video you can see Soviet tanks T-34, T-26 and Stuart from the 2. Butte Panzer Company of Panzerjägerabteilung 198 in the 98th Infantry Division. According to some reports, in the initial period of the war, the Germans got from 900 to 1100 T-26 tanks, 300 to 500 BT tanks, more than 40 T-28 tanks and more than 45 T-34 and KV tanks in good condition. The tanks captured in good condition were used by the subunits that captured them and usually served until they were completely out of order. Nevertheless, in 1941, the use of captured Soviet equipment in the Wehrmacht was very limited, which was caused, on the one hand, by the German units still sufficiently equipped with standard equipment and confidence in the imminent end of the war, on the other hand, by the difficulty of identifying this equipment during fierce battles. For example, the first captured T-34s delivered to 1-8-11 PZ. DIV. The Germans did not dare to use it. There are 3 Soviet medium tank T-34 Mod. 1941–42, Panzerkampfwagen T-34 747 R, from the 2. Butte Panzer Company of Panzerjägerabteilung 198 in the 98th Infantry Division are moving by the road in early 1943 and captured by Germans. T-34 from 2 SS Panzer Division, Das Reich, run past SS Chef Heinrich Himmler. Note additional stowage boxes on the turret and hull side, and shot hole patch on the turret side. Also on the rear hull plate mount Germans leaked. Kharkiv, spring 1943. Captured by Italians T-34 tank from 120 Art RGT. In the video Germans modified T-34M, 1941–1942. In addition, a significant role was played by the reluctance of the commanders of many German units to face the routine of processing and reporting on captured tanks, which now does not allow us to determine how exactly the amount of equipment used. It was much easier to use trophies without taking into account, and in the event of serious damage or breakdowns, as well as the lack of fuel or ammunition, abandon the captured vehicles without bothering with any formulation of acts of loss. On the next photos T-34M. 1941–1942 ZBV 66 and 1 Ski Jaeger Division. Like captured T-34s, KV heavy tanks captured in good condition have been used by German units since the beginning of the war. From the middle of 1942, some KV-1s sent to German factories began to be ferried to the front again. KV-1s were hit mainly by 1, 8 and 22 PZ. DIV. Official German sources cite a figure of about 50 kV used in the Wehrmacht. By October 1941, about 100 captured Soviet tanks were used in German units, only fully serviceable vehicles were put into operation. The bulk of the abandoned equipment remained on the battlefields and spent the winter of 1941–42 under the open sky due to the workload of repair and evacuation units restoring their own equipment, after which it fell into disrepair and was later sent to be melted down. At that time, the Wehrmacht received only a few T-26, BT and T-60 from repair bases. Losses incurred in 1941 and early 1942 with the inability of German factories to make up for the losses incurred forced more attention to the use and restoration of captured equipment. Starting from the end of 1941, the captured T-34s began to be sent to a repair plant in Riga for restoration and modernization. One of the most famous units with two companies in service with captured equipment at that time is the PZ-APT ZBV-66 formed on May 30, 1942, intended for the failed invasion of Malta. This battalion had many rare vehicles in its composition, such as PZ, IAUSFF, PZKPFW, IAUSFJ, PZKPFW, 2AUSFF2, with 80 mm frontal armor, KV-1 and KV-2 tanks, as well as T-34. The captured tanks were transferred to Army Group Center and ended up in Skijäger Brigade 1, renamed 1. Skijäger Division on June 15, 1944. 2. KP. PZ. APT. ZBV-66 was renamed 4. PZ. KP. SCHW. Ski. BTL. 1. On December 30, 1944. 1. Ski. JG. DIV. Reports 28 T-34, of which only 9 are combat-ready T-34 and 5 T-43. Since 1943, the number of enterprises involved in the recovery of trophies has increased, and the plants Mercedes, Benz, Imreinfeld, Daimler, Benz, Berlin, and WUMAG, Gorlitz, were involved in the work. After the battles in the spring of 1943 for Kharkiv and its recapture, the Germans 2 TCSS got more than 50 completely serviceable T-34-76s. Mainly produced in 1942–1943, of which 25 tanks later got 2 PZ. GR. DIV. SS Das Reich. Some sources indicate that 22 tanks went to 3 PZ. GR. DIV. SS Totenkopf, controlled by J. Staffel 2 SSPZ. GR. DIV. Das Reich, turned out to be a Kharkiv steam locomotive plant, KHPZ, plant number 183. Now the plant named after Malyshev, where the Panzer Repair Unit, Workstaff SS was organized, which was engaged almost only in the restoration of captured tanks. In the summer of 1943, whole units equipped with captured equipment were organized, but the most widespread use was in SS units. 25 T-34 tanks of various years of production were included in the 3 PZ. JG. APT. 2 PZ. GR. DIV. SS Das Reich, as part of the T-34 battalion. They served together with PZKPFWIV tanks equipped with long-barreled 7.5 cm guns, performing the tasks of tank destroyers. As of July 4, 1943, 2 PZ. GR. DIV. SS Das Reich had 18 serviceable T-34 tanks and 9 more were under repair. From June to August 1943, a captured T-34 with 3 SSPZ. APT. The famous German tank ace Emil Seibold also fought. It is assumed that of the 69 victories recorded on his account, during that period he destroyed 23 tanks. On May 6, 1945, during the last awards ceremony, he was awarded the Knight's Cross. Captured T-34s during the battles near Kursk were also used in Wehrmacht units. For example, 11 PZ. RGT. 6 PZ. DIV. There was, according to data on April 26, 1943, 1 T-34 tank, and on July 10, 1943, 4 T-34 tanks. In the same period, captured T-34s were in the PZ. JG. APT. 128-23 PZ. DIV. The use of captured tanks in battalions of tank destroyers was most justified, which made it possible to avoid losses from their own fire, and on the other hand filled the shortage of tank destroyers. PZ. JG. APT 128-23 PZ. DIV. Captured T-34 and Su-85 were used in Romania and in 1944. The only known case of replacing a standard gun with a German one was recorded in the same 1943 near Belgorod. Tank KV-1 Mod. 1942 of the year was rearmed with the German 7.5 cm KWK-40 gun instead of the standard ZIS-5 gun. In addition, the tank received a commander's cupola from the PZ-3 IV tank. Several captured 34s were sent for units being prepared in France, transferred to the Eastern Front. There are photographs of these vehicles, knocked out during their use against the Anglo-American forces that landed in Normandy, but the reliability of the images is questionable. A number of heavy KV-2 tanks were sent to Germany for research and demonstration in the initial period of the war, where at least one of them remained until the last stage of the war. In April 1945, this vehicle protected the Krupp plant from the advancement of American tanks. In the book, Die Entscheidungsschlachten Rhein und Ruhr, H. Euler mentions the KV-1 captured by the Americans in 1945. According to official data, in January 1945, the units had 49 T-34 tanks, of which 29 vehicles still belonged to 100 Ski Jaeger Division. At the end of 1944, a special unit, Jaguar, was created, initially operating in the Krakow area and having tasks similar to those of the 150th Brigade in the Ardennes. The staff of this unit is unknown, but it included a so-called medium company, equipped with T-3476 and T-3485 tanks. A division was formed in East Prussia, Brauneberg. At the end of 1944, the Kommandoverband was transferred as part of the Army Group South and, as part of 6 TA SS, participated in battles in Hungary in January 1945.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a comment, like and subscribe. Support the channel so I can bring you more content. Thank you again.